When the engine stops, the helicopter does not simply fall. The rotor can keep turning. Engine power is gone, but the spinning rotor gives the pilot a chance to survive. In seconds, the pilot must react. Training now becomes more important than ever.
This emergency maneuver is called autorotation, and it can keep the helicopter controllable.
As the helicopter descends, air flows upward through the rotor and keeps it spinning. The rotor is now the helicopter's lifeline, converting the descent into useful energy.
The pilot changes rotor pitch, carefully controlling the helicopter's descent and remaining rotor energy.
Altitude and airspeed are critical. The pilot must balance both throughout the descent.
This is where the height-velocity diagram becomes critical for helicopter safety. Now the Caucasian pilot prepares for the final maneuver, using the rotor's remaining energy.
During autorotation, the helicopter continues forward while slowly losing altitude.
Airflow through the rotor keeps the blades turning without engine power. The rotor is carefully designed to remain effective during autorotation. The pilot constantly monitors airspeed, altitude, and rotor energy. Finding a suitable landing area becomes the pilot's next priority.
Low altitude and low airspeed can leave very little recovery time.
This relationship is explained by the height-velocity diagram.
At the right altitude and speed, the pilot has more options. Now the pilot focuses on reaching the chosen landing area.
The ground is getting closer, and the final maneuver is approaching.
During autorotation, the pilot must carefully control the descent while searching for the safest possible landing area.
The collective allows the pilot to change rotor pitch and carefully manage the helicopter's remaining energy.
Airflow moving upward through the rotor keeps the blades turning, even though the engine is no longer providing power. Maintaining the right forward speed gives the pilot valuable control while the helicopter continues losing altitude.
From this height, the pilot can evaluate the terrain and choose the most suitable landing area.
As the helicopter gets lower, the pilot must prepare carefully for the final stage of the emergency landing. Every part of the descent depends on aerodynamic forces working together to keep the helicopter controllable.
Now the pilot keeps watching the landing area while making small control adjustments to maintain the correct flight path.
The helicopter is now close to the ground, and there is very little time left before the final maneuver begins. Just above the ground, the pilot prepares to flare, using the rotor's remaining energy to reduce forward speed.
Just above the ground, the pilot begins the flare, converting altitude into the final burst of rotor energy.
The flare slows the helicopter and helps reduce its forward speed just before touchdown.
Now the landing gear is only moments from the ground, while the pilot maintains precise control.
The final seconds are critical. The pilot carefully controls the remaining descent energy for a gentle touchdown. The helicopter touches down safely, completing the most demanding part of the autorotation. Once on the ground, the pilot keeps control, while the rotor gradually loses its remaining energy.
After landing, the pilot confirms that the aircraft is stable and the emergency is under control.
Without engine power, the rotor eventually slows down, bringing the auto-rotation sequence to its end.
What began as an engine failure has ended with a controlled landing, thanks to skill, physics, and preparation. Autorotation shows that an engine failure does not always mean disaster. Knowledge and training can turn an emergency into a survivable landing. An engine failure does not always mean a helicopter will fall from the sky. The secret is the rotor, which can continue producing aerodynamic forces during autorotation.
Pilots train repeatedly for engine failures, so their emergency response becomes almost automatic. Training also teaches pilots how altitude and airspeed affect their emergency options.
The curve of death is not a prediction of disaster. It highlights situations where recovery may be difficult. His experiments help demonstrate how a freely rotating rotor could generate lift without engine power. Early autogyros demonstrated how a freely rotating rotor could generate lift without direct engine power. Today, this principle remains an essential part of helicopter emergency training.
Auto-rotation is a remarkable example of physics, engineering, and pilot skill working together.
Autorotation combines science, engineering, and pilot skill in a remarkable way.